Don't you feel good? Aren't you glad to be alive? Aren't you glad to be in the house of the Lord? Here we go again, round two. That's our theme for the month. Round one almost killed you, didn't it? Lord, I love you. You know I love you. But how can I know that you are here for me? How can you know that I'm here for you? Where would you be if I were not here for you? Yes, Lord, I understand I'd be up a tree. No, you don't understand. No, if it were not for me, you wouldn't be up a tree. There would be no tree for you to be up. There would be no you to be up the tree. There would be no nothing at all without me. Yes, Lord, I understand you do bring good luck. Wrong again. When I'm with you, it's not good luck. It's good blessings. It's good blessings when I'm with you. And when I'm not with you, oh Lord, you don't want to be on God's hit list, children. You don't want to be on God's hit list. You be with God and God is with you. Everybody say, I'm with God. And when you're with God, even when your family are not with you, even when your sisters and brothers are not with you, even when your friends are not with you, when you're with God, even when your brothers are not with you, remember 2 Chronicles 11, verse 4, when your brothers turn against you, the Lord says, do not fight against your brothers. Our subject, fighting the good fight. Do not fight against your brothers. There's several things we want to observe. First of all, brothers can be bothers. Now, everybody here who's got a brother or sister knows that sometimes brothers can be bothers. They call it sibling rivalry, the proclivity of those who are under one roof to fight one another. The proclivity of those who are in common to act like they have nothing in common. And even when you do right, the brothers can still treat you wrong. Even when you are in the right, the brothers can still be in the wrong. Brothers can be bothers. And there you are, saved and sanctified and doing the right thing. And already you've learned that saved doesn't mean safe. If you haven't learned it, please learn it now. Just because you come to church doesn't mean nothing bad is going to happen to you. Just because you tell the truth on Monday doesn't mean somebody's not going to lie on you on Tuesday. Just because you're going to come to this altar and pour out your heart doesn't mean the person on your right or your left isn't going to nudge you in the ribs and try and hurt you. Even in the church is a hospital. Being saved does not mean being safe. Please don't be surprised when you run across that 3% of people in the church who out to get everybody. Just be surprised that it's only 3%. Don't be surprised that in your family, just because you love your brother, your sister doesn't necessarily have to love you back. Don't be surprised if the friend you told something secret to tells it all over town. If you didn't want it told, you should have told it to God. Fight the good fight. Don't fight your brothers. Brothers can be bothers. Rehoboam is the fourth king that has ruled in the land of Israel. There is Saul, there is David, there is Solomon, there is Rehoboam. And Rehoboam is a good man, but Rehoboam has to learn a whole lot about people and learn a whole lot about God. There are 10 tribes that pull away from the 12 tribes, and they form a coalition up north called Israel. And Rehoboam is left with 2 tribes down south called Judah. These 10 tribes don't understand that we are one body. They don't understand that we are surrounded by enemies on every hand, and we've got to hang together or we're going to hang separately. They don't understand that if all of us come from the projects, we got to start working together and stop crawling through each other's window. We got to work together. They don't understand that we all under the hammer, so you got to get out and vote. They don't understand that if you work hard for your money and put it in the bank, I can't come at 2 in the morning, stick them up when you at ready teller. They don't understand brothers ain't supposed to fight brothers. Remember the 2 little 5-year-old boys out squabbling. And one of them says, my daddy can beat your daddy. And the other one says, so can my mama. We just get so used to hurting one another. Family feud is family foolishness. You don't let nobody divide your family. How many of y'all know how to play the dozens? Now that's just something that's sort of in our culture. We don't take it seriously. Our guests and those who don't know, playing the dozens is when you talk about each other's mama. And if you want to get in trouble with a black person, talk about the mama. You can't talk about my mama. You don't know me that well. It's family feud. Crabs in a barrel should be fighting against the barrel, not fighting against each other. Looking for a way to get out of the barrel. And every time somebody sicks us on each other, they've got an ulterior motive. Every time we divide against each other, whether it's in the club or in the family or in the church or anywhere in the marketplace, the person dividing you has a little something in mind to do about it. The 10 tribes want to seize power for themselves. So they make up something wrong with Rehoboam. This family feud, this getting north to fight against south and east to fight against west, and educated to fight against uneducated, and high salary to fight against low salary, and north of Wilshire to fight against south of Wilshire, and high Yalla to fight about low blacks getting against each other. Brothers can be fathers. They draw up the battle lines, the 10 over here. Tribe Judah stays with Rehoboam because that's where Rehoboam comes from. And then Benjamin, that's the tribe that most of the people in Jerusalem belong to. They stay with Rehoboam, and now they're ready to go to war. But look at General God. Rehoboam, don't fight against your brothers. Rehoboam, don't fight a bad fight. A bad fight is when somebody nudges you and you nudge them back. Then they nudge you tit for tat. Who started it? You started it. Don't do this to me. Don't do that to me. That's a bad fight. God says don't waste your energy fighting a bad fight. You in the choir and you want the solo and somebody else got the solo. Ain't no need of you jumping on her or him. You just keep on singing. Pretty soon the director will have you a solo. Don't fight a bad fight. Brothers can be bothers. Secondly, even though brothers can be bothers, the father is still in charge. Now, I know your generation comes from this household where the 50% divorce rate and children being raised by mamas and all that, and the black man is in crisis and all that. This is only 30 years old. This happened in the 80s when the CIA poured all them drugs in, and our people went crazy, trying to look for a high, failing to see that we've been able to get high when we didn't have drugs. We could get high singing. We could get high dancing. We could get high eating. We could get high in church. We weren't too proud to get high. I'll shout in church. Want to get high this morning. An old high daddy walks off and leaves them little children. Now the fastest surge is mama getting high. And the children going to foster care or going to the streets or going to the dogs. We only got 30 years of that. We can stop it now. Prior to that time, we had fathers in the home. And when father speaks, the birds hush their singing. Mama was Plato. Mama would do all the talking. I don't see why you got to do that. Now, I'm tired of you. You go back here. What would daddy do? You know what daddy do? Look at you. Don't have to say a word. There were 18 in JD's family, and he had 18 different looks, your daddy did, didn't it, JD?
Yes, sir.
Messed JD up a little bit, but Lord says, hey, lay down your arms. Lay down your arms. Y'all got too much anger. Lay down your arms. You need to stop fighting little fights. Lay down your arms. You need to stop bearing grudges. When you were 4 years old, your sister called you by a dirty name. Or when you were 10 years old, your brother took your boyfriend or your girlfriend from you. You need to stop fighting little battles. You need to stop being so negative. You know how people can't find nothing good about nothing? It's one of the nicest days we've had. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's too light. It's too dark. It's too... lay down your arms. Ain't nothing wrong with your hair. Go into the beauty salon and get them naps out of it. If you don't like them naps, lay down your arm. Stop fighting about it. Brother, ain't nothing wrong with you. You can wear a suit with tennis shoes if you ain't got no other shoes. It ain't what's in the shoe. It's what's in the head that counts. It's what's in the heart. Lay down your arms. Lay down your arms and surrender the mind. And when you surrender the mind, God says, you will discover your problem is not your brother. Your problem is not your daddy. You ain't the only one in the world who didn't have a daddy. Your problem is not your mama. Just because your mama crazy don't mean you got to be crazy. Your problem is not your boss. If you don't like your boss, go become your own boss and start a business. I'll help you. And your problem ain't your looks. You so busy envying somebody else who you think is prettier than you are, you can't look in the mirror and see God don't make nothing ugly. God don't make no junk. Father knows best. Father says, lay down your arms and surrender the mind, and you'll discover the enemy is within. God saves us from ourselves. God don't save you from your neighbor. God saves you from yourself, because God can handle your neighbor. God's problem is with me. I'm my own worst enemy. Rehoboam obeys God. Rehoboam obeys God because Rehoboam loves God. And when you love somebody, obey them. Children, don't you tell your mama, I love you, and you disobeying your mama. Don't you tell your daddy, I love you, and you disobeying your daddy. When you love somebody, you obey them. That's why we shouldn't have to fight nobody here to give 10% of what God has given back. Because if you love God, you have to give back to God. If you love God, you have to obey God. Rehoboam obeys God, secondly of all, when God says, don't go to battle, because Rehoboam has enough sense to know that if you go to battle without God's blessings, you're going to not only lose God, but you're going to lose the battle too. A whole lot of us are fighting losing battles because we're going into battles without blessings. If you can kneel in the morning and ask God to bless your mess, go on and do it. If you can't kneel and ask God to bless your mess, then don't do it. Don't do it. He obeys God. And God says, hey, I got it. I got it. And Rehoboam is thinking, but Lord, what about the 10 tribes? Listen, middlers, sometimes you have to cut your losses. Daughter, wearing out your handkerchief in my office, crying over your loss, that's a lost cause. You can't make nobody love you. Now, they're supposed to pay for what they did, your children, so you say, Mr. Hahn, Mr. Garcetti, here's the list. They'll find him and get the money for the babies. But nobody can find sanity for you if you crazy. Brothers, stop this crying over somebody that don't want you. Cut your losses. Cut your losses. Stop crying over the daddy that you lost. Cut your losses. Stop crying over the love you didn't have. Cut your losses. Remember the love song? Are you going to stay with the one who loves you? Are you going back to the one you love? May I suggest, stay with the one who loves you. Father knows best. That's what Father told Rehoboam. And then we see this third thing, and then we're coming home. We've said that brothers can be bothers. Then we've said that Father knows best. Now, then we said Father's still in charge. Now we want to conclude Father knows best. And Father says, look here, a soft answer turns away wrath. Foot and mouth are always fighting. Foot looks up at mouth and says, I just run. I just walk. I just run, just so you can eat. If I didn't eat, how could you run? If I didn't eat, how could you walk? Then they go to fighting each other. Father says, hey, look at here, mouth. Foot, you really run well. I'm proud of you. You walk well. Man, I really would be lost without you. I appreciate you very, very much, and I'm going to try and send down a little less fat. I'm going to try and send down a little less grease. And I'm going to tell you once in a while, I love you. Well, I'm sorry. I got carried away, mouth. A soft answer turns away wrath. Rehoboam's young counselors had said to him, go to war. And when God said, don't go to war, they said, go to war anyway. And Rehoboam listened to them. Now he's finally learned a lesson. He listens to the old counselors, and they tell him three things that are going to save our lives. Submit to the will of God. Everybody say, submit to the will of God. Cut your losses. Fortify what you have. And you will see that it ain't luck. It's blessings. When you get with God, ain't luck. It's blessings. Lenny is the nephew of our Sue Shaw, our sanctuary chair. Lenny was going to Europe, going by way of Atlanta. And out at the airport terminal in Atlanta, he's walking and he sees a sign, peach cobbler. Peach cobbler. Lord, if you made anything better than peach cobbler, you must have kept it in heaven for yourself. Peach cobbler. So he goes in and he's eating peach cobbler so that he misses his flight. TWA flight 800. Now Lenny says, my life is dedicated to God. I can't say it was luck. Ain't no such thing as luck. God was in the plan. I wasn't saved by peach cobbler. I was saved by Jesus Christ. The rest of my life, I'm going to fight for Jesus. I have fought the good fight. I have finished my race. There is laid up for me a crown